Good. Let's go. Part 2. With no technical hitches. Right. Maybe we went into a bit much detail in the first half, and we obviously ran on a bit. I'm sorry about that. That, though, has meant we haven't had many solutions from the audience over the break. So the second half is going to be quite quick. If we just run through, I'll run through my ones, and then if Kevin runs through his, and then we see if there's any solutions in the room that haven't yet been expressed. Okay, so problem 1, the glass materials in elevation. Has anybody got any questions or thoughts about that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's quite true. And the other option for that is you can do a 3D view that is an elevation, that kind of thing. That's cheating, but yeah, you can do that. It's all cheating. Okay.
I think my suggestion, I'm not quite sure whether it's possible, is whether you could filter by the material itself.
Yeah.
No, not possible. Okay. So you can't isolate the material by a parameter.
You can't pick a material to do a criteria.
Okay.
What you could do is to save the selection and then apply transparency to the selection.
But that's a fixed selection. That's not a. Yeah.
But then if it's changed, you need to edit the selection.
Don't like that. But, okay.
Can you repeat what they're saying so it goes on the recording?
Yes, of course. Gabor mentioned using a realistic view for the recording, as I'm sure everybody heard. And Kevin suggested using the materials as part of the filter, but Joachim, who actually handled this in our office, tried that. You can't use a material as part of the filter criteria. What you could do as an option is you could select the things and then make a selection set of them and use that as your filter. But that would mean that if you then added it during a new item, it wouldn't be part of the filter, so it wouldn't get affected. So that's why I don't like that. Okay, so anything else on glass on elevations? Okay. Moving on, problem 2. Curved curtain wall panels. Any questions or thoughts or solutions on that one? Yay!
A colleague of mine encountered the same problem, or my problem actually, and he gave me an idea of using mass, like you did in the last example.
Uh-huh.
But he actually divided the mass into nodes.
Yes.
That you actually can do that, and then apply a profile to all those grids and nodes. So the profile will go up and down, up and down, wherever it goes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I haven't tried that, but I am going to try it.
That sounds like a possibility. Yeah.
So
Okay.
He's manually built it based on adaptive components.
Well, well, I'm not completely sure, but what he did, he actually made a mass of the curtain wall, whatever it is, round, whatever it is required, with the glass roof. And then he actually, in the mass component, there is a button that you actually can say that apply grids or apply nodes.
Yes.
And to each node, you can actually give a profile that actually will go all the way to that.
Oh.
Sounds like adaptive components.
Well, it might be.
Obviously, the profile will migrate itself because the profile goes up, upward, horizontally, vertically.
A 3-point adaptive component.
You think?
I'll leave it up-
Okay.
I'll leave it up to you.
We'll have to have a play. Okay. Thank you. Problem 3. Trimming mullions. Any?
That was the one.
That was another similar kind of. Yeah. Yeah. So you use an adaptive component with a radius parameter in it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Actually, I have to say, the one downside of the adaptive component I showed for the curved curtain panels is that the geometry you're getting, it is smooth between the points, but it's a bit undefined. I think you're getting a spline-shaped curved panel. You're not getting a true cylindrical panel in my case, because the curves are just taking the points, 3 points, and putting a 3-point spline through them. Whereas if you made a 4-point adaptive and cleverly put an arc in there with a radius on, then you get a proper cylindrical panel. But again, that's not going to take 5 minutes, is it?
You can create the curve, true curve.
Can you?
If you use an arc reference.
Ooh, an arc reference.
But there is an issue using the 3 points and an arc reference. It's a known bug that I've been reliably informed will be fixed in 2017.
Ooh. Okay. So moving on to problem 3, trimming mullions. Any thoughts or comments on that? Yay.
You can make a mullion with a mited end as a mullion type.
No. No. You could make an adaptive component that that had the mite and place that with points, but it wouldn't be a mullion. But that's one of the problems I think with mullions is they're quite old code. They were in the product a long time. I don't think you can do much with them. Just like the wall sweeps, they're just a thing, and that's it. I think, unless in newer versions you can. 2017, 2020, yay. Ooh. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, so for the tape, then, Gabor was saying that you could use work sets instead of a visibility parameter, and then if you switch the work set off in hide in all views or whatever, then you won't see those elements in the views. You could do that, yeah. Good, nice. Anything else? It is also cheating. All these are. This is cheating because Revit doesn't work. Finally, room data sheets. Any thoughts or comments on room data sheets? Yeah. I think that's a fair comment, yeah. It would be really nice if it would just work, but it just doesn't. So we have plugins and different bits of solution to fix that. Okay, that's me, I think. Kevin, go for it. Are you switched on now?
Yeah, I am switched on. Scheduling components from a linked room. Any suggestions or solutions on that one? Yes?
Does the copy monitor tool work? So in the file that you're in, copy and monitor the room from the linked file, and it would take all the attributes of that room.
No, you're not.
Okay. Right, I'm on now.
You're getting both because you're getting these.
Okay. So a couple of solutions I think that were thrown about at the halftime interval. It's not really a solution that's much better than what you're doing, but using the case app to automatically copy the rooms, but that would mean deleting them every instance. So
that's a problem. You have to make sure it's every room is being wiped out the model for the new ones coming.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'd have to use the schedules to select the rooms, delete them, and then purge, essentially remove all non-place rooms first. The only other solution I can think of, but it would require a bit more exploring, would be to use Dynamo. I know you can pull data from linked files, so my kind of workflow in my head would be to have all the have a mirror of the room parameters in all the FF&E, and then use Dynamo to pull the room parameters of the object that's placed in that linked room, and then map it onto the associated object. So you'd have to rerun that every time you wanted to output it, but you wouldn't be duplicating the rooms in it. So it wouldn't be a true schedule of the room. It would be a schedule of the FF&E data that's been extracted from the room.
That's actually better because you're only scheduling one room. You're not.
Well, in fact, you're not scheduling rooms at all in that instance. You'd be just scheduling the FF&E, and the room data would be embedded within. So essentially,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you're not duplicating you're not repeating the process. You're actually doing it.
Whereas the problem is if you run Dynamo every morning, your schedule is not updated. So whatever is happened in the room is
Yeah.
not going to pick up in that schedule.
I'm not
So
sure
it's
if
not automatic.
I'm not sure if it will work on the try, but would the room calculation point in a family pick up a linked room?
That's I think the problem.
Yeah, that's the issue that we're experiencing, that the FF&E isn't reading the room data from the link.
One of the ways that we got it to work was to change the room to a space, because if an object is within a space, it recognises the spaces in the link model. But then you've got to change all your rooms to spaces. Which
Is it mapping all the parameters from the space? So, and then you'd probably have to use BIMLink then or some kind of other tool.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
That, it's interesting that the spaces work differently from the rooms with linked files.
it's recognised as a space.
Yeah, spaces can be transmitted through a link workers. Yeah. So there is a difference in the chart.
Okay. Right. Browser organisation. Any additional solutions on that one, or any workflows that people use in their organisations?
We're talking about just simplifying it, just using it from that top level, from the view name, effectively. So you're taking away the user input, the different tiers. It does limit the amount of subsets you can create from it.
Yep.
But it takes away that kind of user input. A lot of the time we used to find all of those views would end up as question marks. People couldn't find them because they didn't understand it properly.
Okay.
It's just
To summarise, the gentleman, Alistair, was saying that you could use the view type and the name of the view type to organise it within your browser organisation, so it doesn't require user input. They're just selecting one view type and it's automatically organising it. One of the drawbacks of using the text-based one is if you don't assign a value to it, then you'll end up with 3 question marks. Internally, the way we've resolved that is that any view that's created, that it's automatically assigned a view type, and that view type's assigned a view template, and then within the view template we're automatically assigning a value to it initially, so it always gets an initial value. So if it's working, then it'll automatically assign it a working view name. Okay, and for the final one, creating view depth. How would you go about any other solutions for
making pretty site elevations or sections. Same thing. Yeah. Okay. I think probably one of the only other solutions I can think of is using a masking region and then adding the transparency to the masking region, but that manually requires you tracing round the building, which obviously isn't preferable. Yes?
Once or twice, it's a bit of a hack, but I've sometimes duplicated an elevation and put it behind it or in front of it and changed the visibility graphics in some way. So, you know, maybe make a background buildings like chrome or something.
Yeah.
You can do that with as many as you want, but you have to sort of line them up quite carefully.
They snap together, don't they? But
Sometimes, but
do it? Can you? It used to be sometimes they flipped order. Do you find in new versions of
I've not done it recently, so
yeah.
I don't know if it's changed.
Yeah, I think if you're doing something like that, then it might bring up some of the issues that we talked about in the last problem session, where I think David, was it yours, where you had these staggered facade and you wanted to layer the elevations on top of each other.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been back in the day. I've used that technique of layered up things. I've got to recall it did work, yeah. But I've heard tell it that sometimes they, as you place them, they come in the wrong order or whatever, and so you get the background and front and stuff. So.
Okay, so that takes us to the end of our problems and solutions, and we move on to tips and tricks.